Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about drugstore skin tints. Skin tints have been like the it thing right now. I feel like that's what a lot of people are gravitating towards, and since it's getting into summer, a lot of people like something a little bit more lightweight. So I decided to do a drugstore version of this. I have 4 drugstore skin tints that we are going to put to the test to find out which one is the best. By the way, we're going to ignore my hands in this video because they are so bad. I used a new self tanner last night, and this never happens to me. I usually don't get this orange and blotchy like that, but the one I got in my VIB sale haul from Sephora, the Isle of Paradise tanning water, yeah, don't know if I would recommend that. Kind of scarred for life of that one, so just wanted to mention. I know my hands look really bad. It like clung to my elbows too. It's terrible. So I don't know, I might be bringing that one back to the store. But anyways, this is about skin tints, so let's go ahead and we'll get started. I went ahead and did a wear test and a try on of each of these to see how they wore throughout the day and some of my thoughts, and then I'm going to give my final thoughts at the end. So let's get into the clips. Alright guys, so the first skin tint that we are going to try out, because I'm most excited for this one, is from Wet n Wild. It's their Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. I feel like I've heard a lot of really good things about this one, so I'm so curious to see what this looks like on my skin. I have the shade Light. It has hyaluronic acid and squalene in the formula, and it's supposed to be oil free and a sheer to medium coverage. So let's go ahead and try this out. We do get 0.91 fluid ounces of product, so not really a full ounce. So this is probably something I feel like I'm going to go through fairly quickly. So I'm going to use a decent amount of product because I do want some coverage. Let's go ahead and apply just to one side of my face so you guys could see how it looks. Alright, so here is how it looks just applied to this side of my face. It literally looks so close to just my bare skin plus primer. But let me see if I can get closer. I will say this side definitely is a little bit more glowy. It looks a little bit more perfected, and some of my imperfections are definitely more concealed. So it just kind of looks like your skin, but better is what I'm gathering. But that's kind of the difference between this side and then just primer over here. Let me put the rest on. Now, the downside, I'm realizing I don't use a whole lot of skin tints, but I'm using a lot of product, I feel like, to get that more perfected look. I think it's because I'm wanting to see a bigger difference than I'm seeing, but I have to remember it's not a foundation, it's a tint. So here is both sides covered. Still, it kind of just looks like my skin, but just a little bit better. Let me put the rest of my makeup on and we'll see how it looks with a somewhat full done face. I'm not going to go like the extra mile or anything. We're going to do natural makeup still. Here it is with the finished makeup. Like I mentioned, I was just going to do super natural makeup today. I did a lot of cream and liquid products. I didn't even do any eyeshadow today, but yeah, that's kind of how we are looking. I'm actually liking the skin tint better with the rest of my makeup on, because then, you know, after everything's kind of on the face, then you don't notice your foundation as much as when it's just that. So that's definitely something I have to get used to. Yeah, this is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator on my skin. And I'll see you guys in a few hours after I've worn it a bit. Alright, so it's been a few hours and I wanted to give you guys my update on the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. I must say, I am impressed. Okay, so I don't have much experience with skin tints, like I mentioned a few times, but this looks really good. Like, I feel like as it goes on throughout the day, since it's less coverage and less product on my face, I feel like it doesn't enhance my texture as much, my pores, and it looks a lot better throughout the day than when it first applied. Like, I'm actually loving how it looks right now. It's a little bit more dewy as my natural oils have set in, but wow. Like, my skin looks so good. It looks a lot better than it usually does when I'm wearing like full coverage, even though yes, I do prefer that full coverage sometimes, just for like when I'm doing full glam, but I like this. I think it looks really nice and it's not too oily. So I think this is working well for my oily skin. It's not too glowy. I was a little bit weary at first if I would like this because yeah, this probably isn't something I'm going to wear every day, but for natural makeup days, this is perfect. And paired with the cream products I used, it looks really beautiful. Alright guys, we have another skin tint to try out, and this time we are trying out the L'Oreal today. It's the new Skin Paradise Water Infused Tinted Moisturizer. I have to say this one wins for packaging because it has these little water droplets that are textured on the foundation bottle, which I think is so cute. So they did such a good job with this one. This one has SPF 19. It says aloe vera and witch hazel, and it says awaken fresh glow with luminous coverage and 24-hour hydration. I picked the shade Fair 03. Hopefully this will work okay. So I'm going to do the same thing as we did yesterday and do half the face so we can kind of compare. I'm going to use a beauty sponge again for this. Oh, this looks like it might be a little dark. Maybe just a tad. It's more of a water-based texture, while the other one was a little thicker. But I do feel like it might have, I don't know, maybe a little bit more coverage, and that could be that it is a little bit darker than my Wet n Wild one, but yeah, I feel like this one, I'm getting an even application, and it's easier to blend out on the skin. I think that's actually a good color for me. Alright, so I can definitely see a more noticeable difference in this one than the Wet n Wild one we tried yesterday, even though I did like that one after we wore it a few hours. But like, I don't know, my skin just looks a lot more flawless over here. Again, it is a skin tint, so it's not full coverage or anything like that, but it does have more coverage than the Wet n Wild side. So my skin definitely looks a lot better over here, and it does have a nice glow. I really loved how it applied on the skin. Here's a close-up. But I'm going to go ahead and do the rest. I feel like I did not need as much product too with this one. And this one does contain a full ounce, which is nice. Alright, so that is how we look. It is pretty glowy, I will say, on the skin, but it is beautiful. Definitely, I'll have to set this down. But I'm going to put the rest of my makeup on. I'm actually filming another video with my eyeshadow today, so it'll be a little bit more glam with my makeup, but this is how the foundation is. You can just see through some spots, but overall it just gives a really healthy look to the skin. Alright, so here we are. It's been 3 hours, and I can definitely tell right off the bat, this one's definitely a lot more oily looking than the Wet n Wild one we tried yesterday. So it's definitely more glowy. Here's what it looks like. So shiny. So oily skin, probably not for this one. It seems like Wet n Wild's doing a little bit better. Although I'm really sad because I do like that this one has a little bit more coverage than the Wet n Wild does, but I think dry skin might like this one a little bit better. Let me see what it looks like powdering just a bit. That's how it looks like with the powder. This one I think is okay, but it's not my favorite. I do prefer the Wet n Wild so far. What do you guys think about this one? Let me know down below. But we have a couple more to try out and see. I'm really sad about this one because I just loved how it applied and it looks so good on the skin at first, but it's not wearing well, I don't think. Hello guys, it's another day and we're trying another Drugstore skin tint. I am going to be using this one today. I'm a little bit nervous about this one in particular because it's definitely boasting all about the glow. It's the Milani Glow Hydrating Skin Tint with 29% squalene, electrolytes, coconut water, all these good things in it. Here's the packaging on this one. But yeah, I'm just a little bit nervous about this one because I do have oily skin, and seeing how glowy the L'Oreal one was yesterday, I don't know how this one's going to hold up. Luckily, I don't have a ton of plans today though. So this one says it's sheer to light coverage. It melts into skin for a naturally dewy glow. So I'm going to put a little bit on my beauty sponge and we will try this one out. I have the shade 110 Glow. And we'll start on this side. But I definitely think the L'Oreal had a little bit more coverage. This one is pretty light, comparable to the Wet n Wild one we tried earlier. So I really only noticed a very slight difference in my skin over here. It looks just more glowy. It looks like it didn't do a whole lot for me. Let me do a little close up here and then we'll put it on the other side. But it kind of just looks like I put a glow primer on is all it looks like, really. So this is how it looks. It's just extremely glowy, not a lot of coverage whatsoever. So if you are very dry skinned, maybe this would work for you, or even using it as like a luminous base, but I'm not sure how I'm going to like this one in the end. Let me put the rest of my makeup on and I'll be right back. All right, so here it is with the finished makeup. Just so glowy. It does look pretty on the skin, but I don't know if I am loving it so far. We'll have to see how it holds up. I have a feeling it's just going to be like Oil Slick City. So, sorry, my timer is going off, so I gotta get going. But this is how it looks with the makeup. And I'll see you guys in a few hours. Alright guys, it has been, I think, 4 hours now trying out this Milani skin tint. I feel like these tints are just getting progressively worse. I just am not feeling this one at all. I've even had to powder already like 2 hours in. It was so just oily looking on me, and I just feel like it feels heavy and it's transferring so bad. I feel like it's just coming right off the skin. I don't like how it feels. For such a light coverage foundation, it just feels so heavy on the skin. I'm not really feeling this one. I basically feel like it just looks like my skin. I mean, it's not enhancing texture or anything like that, but if it's too shiny and it's wiping away on me, I'm just not loving it. So, unfortunately, I think this one is a fail. And yeah, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Hopefully the last one isn't even like the worst of all. We'll see, because I've heard some mixed reviews on it. Just doesn't do a whole lot unless you're wanting like a ton of glow. Then maybe mix it in with a foundation, but it's too heavy and greasy on me. Alright guys, I have one more skin tint to try out from the drugstore, and this one is from NYX. So this is the Bear With Me Luminous Tinted Skin Serum. This one retails for $13. I picked mine up in store at Ulta. They also have it online. This one retails for $17. I've heard very mixed opinions on this one, but I'm going to try it out today. I have the shade Universal Light Medium. Hopefully that'll work. It might be a little bit dark, but we'll see. And it says that it is a tinted serum that provides sheer coverage with a luminous finish infused with tremella mushroom to provide skin-loving benefits. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that with my beauty sponge all over the face, and we'll see what this does. It has a very interesting packaging here. It has like the little dropper. I'm trying to figure out how the packaging works though. I'm looking online to see if it says. So basically, if you buy this and you're confused like me, you twist off this piece and then the product comes out of the top, and I guess you squeeze it that way. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna get a good amount here on my sponge and we'll start blending this into the skin, see what kind of coverage it has. We'll start over here. Wow, this literally, it looks like nothing. It has almost a natural type of scent to it. It smells like herbal. I barely see a difference, you guys. Oh my goodness. It's just a little bit darker. And it's making me very shiny. I feel like that's all it's doing right now. I feel like these skin tints are getting progressively worse as I try them. But yeah, I literally feel like that just made me so shiny, and that's all it did. Here's a close-up. Shiny. Matte. What in the world? Let me put it on the other side too. I don't know if I'm gonna wear this one all day. We'll see. I have to film some other stuff today, but I guess we'll try and see what happens. So here's the NYX Skin Serum all over. I still think it didn't really do much except make me extremely dewy. Not a lot of color at all with a skin tint. I still expect it to at least kind of perfect everything. I don't even think it really blurred any of my redness that I have. So yeah, I'm gonna add some concealer. I'll do the rest of my makeup because I do want to film a couple of things, and I will be right back to show you guys what it looks like with the rest of my makeup on. So here is the full look with the rest of my makeup on. I think I made it look pretty good with some cream bronzer, added some blush, and did kind of this like light peachy look today, so a little bit more natural. I'm gonna wear this a few hours and I'll check back and we can see how it's holding up. Alright, so it's literally only been a few hours with the NYX skin tint on, and dang, she's oily, she's oily. Oh man, I just don't think this one's gonna work out for me. I am definitely gonna put some powder foundation over top of this to wear throughout the day, but unfortunately, I don't know, this one might be my least favorite. Of course, everyone's gonna have different preferences, but this one is just way too dewy, and I didn't feel like it gave me really much coverage at all. It seemed like it just added glow to the skin, so I don't think I'm a fan of this one, unfortunately. It seems like I'm having some bad luck here. For me, it's a no-go. Alright, so after kind of trying all the skin tints out, I kind of want to give my thoughts in general and just my overall thoughts on these that I tried. So first off, with the skin tints, like I mentioned, I'm not really into them that much, but I think I am getting a little bit more, you know, comfortable with them. You add the concealer, you add your other products, your blush, your bronzer, and the look does come together, and you kind of realize like, hey, maybe I don't need as much foundation as I thought. It's just that it's a little bit kind of shocking, at least to me at first, because I do not have perfect skin, and I'm like, oh, I need to cover this, I need the full coverage, but I think everything looked like pretty good in the end. Of course, some did hold up a little bit better than others. Some had more coverage than others. Some had like no coverage. Like, skin tints aren't always ideal if you guys have maybe redness like I do, or you have acne to cover up. It's not always like the best thing to go for, because then you're gonna pile on a concealer and then it's kind of like, well, what's the point? I should have just used a full coverage foundation if you're really just wanting to cover. So it's not always for everyone, and I can struggle with that too, because I do have some redness and acne that I want to cover up. So it's not gonna be like, I'm not gonna reach for a skin tint all the time, like if I need it for a special occasion or if I'm going somewhere. But if it's just like quick makeup, or I'm doing a natural look, or just around the house, I just want to perfect my skin, then I actually really like this. And also when I'm having a good skin day, then it works well for me. So that's just kind of my overall thoughts on skin tints in general. They're like, to be honest, they're not my favorite thing to wear, but I'm gonna share with you like what ones I really liked. Now it's kind of funny because the way I did this video and tried them on, it ended up being that I actually tried on my favorite first, and then they all kind of went down from there. But my favorite one was definitely the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. I could see myself wearing this a lot this summer. We just had like an 85-degree day today, and I was like, dang, it is so hot out. I was sweating. I'm like, I was ready for the warmth, but dang, that was a lot. And sometimes I'm just like, I think I'm ready for summer, but then I realized like, oh, like it's hot, we're gonna be sweating. I just know I'm gonna want something lighter in the summer, so I think this is gonna be nice. I do wish it had a full ounce of product, but overall I think this one's probably the best if you guys do have more oily skin. From all the ones I tried, this one's more friendly to oily skin, combo skin, and it had decent coverage. It kind of blurred the imperfections a little bit. It's not like a ton of coverage at all because it is a tint, but this one was definitely my favorite, and I feel like it held up really well. My second favorite is the L'Oreal Skin Paradise. Now this one I thought had a nice amount of coverage, like it actually covered more than the Wet n Wild one, and I really love how it looks on the skin. I just wish it didn't get so oily as quick as it does. I wish it could last a little bit longer, but I still enjoy it. I'm definitely going to be keeping these two in my collection to wear this summer, plus this packaging is adorable. So this one was definitely my second favorite. You may like this too, even if you have drier skin. It is a water infused one, so it goes on super lightweight, but I was impressed with the coverage of this one. It's kind of a more skin tint that I would like because it does have that coverage. So if you're like wanting to get into skin tints but you're not sure because you do like more medium to full coverage, I would say maybe go for the L'Oreal. Try that one out and see how it goes for you, because I really did end up liking that one. It's just one that I'll have to touch up throughout the day. And then these two I didn't really care for. Next would be the Milani Glow. I would say if you do have super dry skin and you are wanting that glow and hydration, like maybe go for this one, but for me it just was way too much. I think you could even use this as like a primer because it is pretty. It kind of blurs a little bit, but it's just very glowy on me, so I didn't really care for how this one looked on me. And then my least favorite is the NYX, just because I feel like this one literally did nothing except make my skin look oily. It had like the least amount of coverage at all. It kind of looked like I just put a primer on, so I would say this one probably wouldn't work for anyone unless you really just want a glow. Maybe you can mix it in with a foundation or something, but I was very disappointed in this one. And the Milani too, it's okay. It might have a little bit more coverage than the NYX, but both of these I just didn't think were that great. I would definitely go for more the L'Oreal or the Wet n Wild. So that is kind of my thoughts on these drugstore skin tints. I hope this video was helpful in kind of getting my reactions of these. I know it's kind of weird I did this video when I'm not really a fan of skin tints in general, but I figured maybe you guys want to see my opinions anyway and get my thoughts on this. I'm curious to see if you guys have tried any skin tints out. I do have some high-end ones that I purchased. Not a lot though. I've been buying a couple more like powder foundations over skin tints just because I feel like that's what I maybe prefer for more of a lighter coverage. But that is going to be it. I will let you go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.